Martha had always started her days the same way. At exactly 6:45 every morning, she'd rise, wrap her cotton robe around her shoulders, and head straight to the bathroom. A hot bath was her ritual. 40 minutes of soaking in lavender salts, letting the steam cloud the mirrors and warm her joints. For the past 30 years, she had bathed daily, sometimes even twice a day when her arthritis flared. But recently, her daughter Emily had started making comments. "Mom, you're drying out your skin," she'd said one afternoon, watching Martha slather on her third round of lotion. Maybe it's time to cut back. Martha dismissed it as well-meaning but misguided. "I've done it this way my whole life. It keeps me clean and relaxed." But that night, as she noticed how tight and itchy her legs felt despite all the moisturizing, the comment stuck in her mind. The next morning, she mentioned it to her walking group at the park. They were a small but loyal bunch. Harold, an 82-year-old former chemist, Diane, a retired schoolteacher, and June, who had recently turned 78 and walked with a hiking pole even on flat ground. "I bathe every other day," June said without hesitation. "Too much soap makes my skin crack." Harold chimed in, "I shower twice a week. My doctor says older skin doesn't need daily scrubbing like it used to." Martha blinked. "Really? But what about hygiene?" Diane smiled. "Clean doesn't always mean daily showers. I wash up with a warm cloth on the days I don't shower. Keeps me feeling fresh without wrecking my skin." It was the first time Martha considered that cleanliness and bathing frequency might not be the same thing. That evening, instead of her usual soak, she opted for a sponge bath at the sink. It felt odd, unfinished even, but her skin didn't itch that night. She slept better too, without the residual heat clinging to her body under the sheets. The next week, she brought it up at her checkup with Dr. Albright. "How often should someone my age be bathing?" Dr. Albright leaned back in her chair. "That's a great question. The answer is, not as often as most people think." She explained that as we age, the skin's natural oils decrease. The outer layer becomes thinner and less effective at retaining moisture. Frequent washing with soaps, especially hot water and scented products, can strip the skin of a little protection it has left. Unless you're heavily sweating or soiled, 2 to 3 full showers or baths a week is usually enough, she said. You can freshen up on other days with a washcloth or by cleaning key areas. Martha tilted her head. "You mean like a sponge bath?" "Exactly. Underarms, groin, feet, and face. Those are the main hygiene zones. Keep them clean, and you're just fine." Dr. Albright continued. "Most seniors who come in with skin issues, itching, rashes, even infections, are overbathing. It's a tough habit to break, but it makes a big difference." Martha felt something shift. She had always prided herself on being clean, well-groomed, proper, but maybe, just maybe, the definition of clean needed to change. Over the next few weeks, she experimented. She cut her full baths down to twice a week and on in-between days, did a quick cloth wipe down with warm water and mild soap. She used a fragrance-free moisturizer immediately after, as the doctor suggested. And to her surprise, she didn't feel dirty. In fact, she felt better. Her skin wasn't tight anymore. Her elbows stopped flaking. Even her scalp felt less dry. And there were other unexpected benefits too. Her water bill dropped slightly. Her mornings had more flexibility. She no longer needed to budget nearly an hour just to start the day. At the community center one afternoon, Martha led a casual chat among the women's book group. They had just finished discussing a novel set in post-war Europe, and the topic had turned somehow to bathing habits of the past. "I read that back then. A family might bathe once a week," said one member, shaking her head. "Imagine the smell." Martha chuckled. "Maybe, but I've been bathing less, and I promise I don't smell any different." Heads turned. "Really?" "I asked my doctor," she explained. "Turns out we've been overdoing it. Our skin gets drier, more fragile with age. Too much bathing just makes it worse." June, sitting in the back, nodded. "I always said a sponge bath goes a long way." From there, the conversation grew. More women opened up. Some admitted they still bathed every day out of habit, but hated how their skin cracked in winter. Others confessed they thought daily bathing was a must, even if they felt miserable afterward. Diane, always practical, brought up a new point. "And what about fall risks? Getting in and out of a wet tub every day isn't exactly safe." That struck a chord. A few nodded solemnly. Martha hadn't even considered that angle. One fewer trip into a slippery bath was one fewer chance of injury. By the end of the meeting, they jokingly dubbed themselves the 2 times a week club. What started as a personal adjustment was now part of a small movement, women choosing comfort and health over old routines. A month later, Martha hosted tea at her house. As her guests arrived, each in their favorite scarf and cardigan, she noticed a lightness in the air. They talked about more than books now, about small life improvements, about questioning long-held ideas. When the topic of bathing came up again, it wasn't with shame or secrecy. It was with laughter and a sense of shared wisdom. "I can't believe I used to wash my hair every single day," one woman said. "What was I thinking? I stopped using soap on my arms and legs entirely," another said. "My skin finally stopped itching." Martha smiled, watching her friends sip tea and nibble cookies. None of them looked unclean. None of them smelled anything other than lavender and lemon from the diffusers in the room. They looked healthy, happy, free. She realized that aging wasn't just about adapting to new physical realities. It was about letting go of outdated beliefs, one long bath at a time. Not long after, her granddaughter visited from college and gave her a hug. "You smell good, Grandma." "Thank you," Martha said with a knowing smile. "It's lavender oil, but I don't bathe every day anymore." Her granddaughter looked surprised. "Really?" Martha winked. "Really. Sometimes less is more.